good as time as any to kind of jump on here real quick, talk to some of y'all, to see where we are. It's the OG Talk channel where we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of what's really going on out here. Not the superficial stuff, man. Not that pie in the sky stuff that you hear a lot of people talk about. That's not really what I do. What I try to do is get into the mindset of what we're all thinking as men who have a certain type of mindset. The type of man I'm talking about pours his heart out for his family, does extra for the community, helps the old lady down the street. If you're not really about that life, this is not going to be for you, because my channel is for more people who care about other people, who are not about all the materialistic things in this world and idealistic women and all of that. Like, that's not where I am in life at 49 years old now. So what is today about? Today is simply about staying present and why that's so important, and the basis of what I've learned in this whole chaotic world that we live in. We live in a chaotic world that don't care about you. And if you have a big heart, or if you are, identify as someone who is that way, then you'll learn pretty quickly that this world, or if you haven't learned by now, you will learn sooner or later that the vultures are circling. And if you've ever been really good to someone who didn't deserve it, and you gave them chance after chance, and they've shown you that they don't care about your life and they only want to take advantage of you until you kind of cut them off. That can be family, that can be exes, that can be whoever. One thing that we can't do is get caught into forgetting that right now is the only time that matters. If you're on this frequency and you're hearing me right now, then you probably have a background into what I'm talking about. But to make it more clear, life is only the present moment. It is never, ever, ever the past or the future. So if you've been going through a lot of trials like I have, today was a reminder for me to make sure that I stay present. Because what I'm realizing, and what I heard this the other day, and it's so true, it's not about anything about what you believe in this world. It's not about that. I believe in God. I believe God saved my life. But I don't do religious stuff because, A, I don't feel like I'm qualified deep enough. And B, I don't think that's my calling on earth. Because whatever you were raised in is what you're going to be. If you're out in China somewhere, or, you may be a Buddhist or whatever religion that you may be, nobody's right and nobody's wrong. So I've always had the feeling now to just let people live how they want to live. Like, what you believe in doesn't affect me in any kind of way. And as long as you're not hurting people, that's cool to me, But I think it's really important because we are in a time now where suicide rates are skyrocketing. And so many people are hurting, and emotionally, I've gone through a ton of things the last 3 years that I'll break down later on, as you guys get to know me more. But it's only the present moment, man. If you think about the past and you're sad about it, that's what it's supposed to do. And all you're going to do is when you think about stuff that happened to you, is you're just going to recreate the same scenario over again. It might be slightly different versions of it, but it's going to be the same thing. If you sad about a parent dying and it's affected you 30 years later, then that raw feeling is still going to be there. If you have a lot of anxiety and you're thinking about bills coming up, or with me, I have a sick cat. My cat is my best friend. Sick right now. We praying that our health gets better, but she older, right? I got a ton of other stuff. That was the latest thing. We're taking her to the vet, high ass vet bills and all of this other stuff. If you're a pet owner, you know how that go. It's a lot of money taking your pet to the vet. But if you're thinking about the things that are going to happen in the future and you're worried about it, then guess what? It's going to happen. See, what we have to realize is the universe is here to say yes to you. So most of the time, what you think is going to happen is what happens. Because it's all just generating off of what you are in here. And you'll hear a lot of law of attraction stuff and all that. I'm always on the fence with all that stuff. But one thing I do believe is that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And I mess up so much with that because, something negative will happen and I'll fly off the handle, or, maybe I won't fly off the handle because I'm really like more of a reserved person. But I'll just get really depressed, or, I'll start losing weight, or, all that kind of stuff where you're just out of it. You're down. You don't want to complain, but you're hurting inside. So there's so many of us out here who are hurting inside. It is. It really is. And the only way it gets better is to realize that it doesn't get better thinking your way there. You have to be present here. See, what I'm starting to notice is when I'm present, I don't think about my problems like that. I'm in a much more peaceful state, man. As I'm looking at you guys right now, like I'm present doing this video, and if you only had a sliver of the amount of just raw, unfair things that have just popped up, manifested in my life, sometimes I ask myself, like, how do you even keep going? And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably feel the same way. How do I keep getting up every day? Why? I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to fight. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Like, the life that I thought I would have and the people that I thought I would have it with is totally different. But see, that's the key. We are not in control of those type of things. And when we try to control and manipulate situations or blah, 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 it rarely works out. And I think this is universal for everybody. We are all going to go through ups and downs, but how do we get through it? And how do we ever experience that happiness of life that everybody talks about? And YouTubers talk about all the time. That's one of the reasons why I never really wanted to do videos like this. Because I really didn't. I don't want to make content. I want to help people, yo. Like, for real, like, I want you to go through your day happier than you have been. And if I can drop something that can make you feel a little bit better or make you think a little different way, then that's what I'm gonna do. Okay? But you gotta stay present, yo. If your mind dwindles to the past, you lost. And if you think about anything in the future, let me tell you how much thinking about the future is a sham. I'm not saying not to be prepared. I'm not saying not to prepare for a future. What I'm saying is, if you are afraid of something that's coming up in your life and it's warping your mind, it's taking over your mind, like it does with me when I go through really hard times and I got difficult things coming up, which I do. I think we all do. Probably why I ain't shaved today. I should have shaved, but I was gonna do a YouTube video. I was gonna shave, but then I figured, why? Like, I don't care. I don't even know me. Like, I ain't here to look cute for y'all. But anyway, staying present is the only way to happiness in this world, and people don't talk about it enough in that text. Staying in the present moment is the only way to live life, and if we can find a way to stay there all the time, I think that's when we blossom in life. I'm at a park right now, outside of a football field. I don't know if you can probably see it a little bit, but a lot of times I like going to the park, if I'm not working or whatever, especially on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning. You go to the park by yourself and just walk around and look at deer and all that. If you're in that type of area, it's very therapeutic for me. Everybody's different, but that's the perfect way to stay present, man. See, what I think is, often I would hear people say how beautiful the world is, and da-da-da. I see people really enjoying their lives, and I'm more of an introvert. I'm more of a loner. I wasn't always that way. I was a very big partier, and, go out a lot, and have a lot of friends, a lot of women around, all of that stuff, all the hijinks I've done. There's not a lot of things that I haven't experienced in that realm. And to get through all of that and now live a quiet life where I don't really interact with many people, it's a drastic change, but there's a reason, because you have to, at least for me, people change. And people change on you. People will change on you. And people that you thought, or family members that you thought would be, that were solid, and you find out they're not, and you find out they, people plot against you and all that kind of stuff. It's really hard to trust people. But you have to get away from toxic people. But the only way to be peaceful in this world is to stay present, bro. And I really think that, once you're present and you can learn to be present every day, the stuff that goes on around you, you'll find yourself not that interested anymore. You'll find yourself worrying less and stressing less when you realize there's only going to be this moment. There's never yesterday. There's no part on the calendar that says yesterday. So why are you thinking about yesterday? It is impossible to know what's going to happen tomorrow. The only reason why you think you know is because of past experiences. But, I'm in New Jersey, right? On 9/11/2001, 3,000 people from the area, they was just going to work. It was a beautiful day that day, weather-wise, but people were just going to work. Nobody knew that was coming. So I'm sure a lot of those people probably had things on their mind, or what they were going to do that weekend, or things they may have been stressing about, or bills or whatever, and cowards took their life. But let's go back and think, like, what was all that stressing before that? Was it worth it? And I don't know what people were going through, but I do know that none of us knew that that would happen. So we never know what our last day is. We never know when our next miracle is coming. We never know what that next phone call is going to be that's going to change your life. So the point of it all is, you can't think about the past. And you can't have anxiety about the future. You're having anxiety about an unknown. You don't know how it's going to work out. And usually, if you think it's going to turn out bad, a lot of times it turns out bad. The universe is just going to give you what you are. See, we got to change what's in here and what's in here. That's the only important thing. How do you feel about yourself? And do you have the mindset to stay present? Because that's all we need to do, is just stay present and try to figure out a way to do that. All right? This is one of many. I'm going to do these probably every day. Maybe 10 minutes, on my lunch break. 10 minutes, come out. Just give y'all the real, But I want you to know I love you all. And yeah, let's take this present journey together, man. It's the only way to live. And I'm so tired of people being sad all the time. Like, I want us to start learning how to be happy in the moment, in the present moment, because that's all we have. It can never be any time but right now, this moment. It will never be tomorrow right now. Can't be. The only time it is ever going to be is right now. You can only live in the present. So don't try not to. Because things are going to come in our life that changes things for us. But try not to. Let's see where you get with it. Love you all. Peace.